right, Dave Canales is here. Successful first season with Carolina Panthers. What's going on, buddy?
Man, just hanging.
Yeah?
Yeah, it feels a lot different than a year ago, just getting to the owners' meetings, kind of knowing where to be now.
Yeah.
So, a little different.
Well, listen, what's the biggest difference between this year and last year? Just from a comfort level, from an everything level, you probably felt like you're just trying to tread water this time last year. Like, what does it feel like right now?
It just feels like we have a lot more of our processes in place
Okay.
in terms of like playbook stuff, scheme-wise, offensively. Was bringing in a new thing, and then Dan Morgan and I just kind of working through our processes from free agency to draft prep, those types of things. First time in 2 years that Brad Idzik and I have been able to do a full offensive self-scout. So to sit down with the staff, watch all the run game, like the way that we kind of know how to do it and process it. So that's great, just wrapping our brain around that.
What'd you learn about yourself in the first year as being a head coach? Whether that's from the self-scout or not, just something where you're just going, oh, I'm a head coach now. I didn't think this, but blank.
A lot. I mean, that's a very broad question, and I think just to like camp on something specifically, I think it's just trying to find a way to connect with all the different phases, the coaches and the players and the different departments, just making sure that I have, organized and like kind of mapped out touch points with strength and conditioning, with athletic training, with our coordinators, different leaders from a player standpoint, and just trying to, I just found like I wanted that more, and that was the biggest challenge in year one was, let's get this offense off the ground, heavily involved, but just feeling like I kind of missed that part of it, when I was really focusing on one part of our scheme. So
I have another big, broad question for you. You helped resurrect the career of Baker Mayfield, helped resurrect the career of Geno Smith, did it with Bryce Young too. Someone comes to you and says, younger coaches, teach me, tell me, broad strokes, whatever you want, about how to help a quarterback mid-career. And that's the golden ticket for everybody. Everybody's trying to figure out how do we improve quarterbacks. You've now done it with 3 quarterbacks. What does the league need to learn about that you think that you've been able to do with those 3 guys? I understand all 3 quarterbacks are different, but you've done such a good job. Like, take me through the masterclass here.
I think there's a trust factor that's developed. I think the player has to understand that you have their best interest in mind and that you will make adjustments to fit their style of play. But then they also have to be able to meet you halfway and say, hey, these are some of the things that we got to have, and you meet me here, I'll bring more schemes you like. I'll fit things into your skill set, the routes that you throw, the things you see well. I'll make this pass game, I'll make this offense become this like relationship, this connection that we have, but I also need you to do this, this, and that, And so I think that there's a give and take where I think that what can happen as a coach is if you're asking more than you're involving, then it becomes very one-sided, and I think that's where there's a little bit of a disconnect. So it all comes down to respect, and I think that trust factor goes both ways. It's asking the player to trust you while the stuff's got to work.
Yep.
And when it does work, then you earn their trust, and then vice versa. You can kind of work off of building that relationship. It's really critical, and these guys are so smart, and they've been so good for so long. Also, part of it is just reminding them how good they are, reminding them that you've been a baller.
Yeah.
You've been amazing your whole life. It'll be no different. Let's just get these basic things in order so you can go out there and be who you've always been. And I think that's been what's refreshing for the guys that I've coached is they're able to say, okay, he really just wants me to get back to me, and that's really what I want, ultimately. So,
with Bryce in particular, take me through kind of the key moments in that journey where you're able to kind of unlock that as the season went along.
Yeah, it was really just like, I talk about Bryce all the time and just say, like, this is a guy that was handed a very challenging situation by being benched early on, and he just went to work. He just came every day, went right back to work. He'd never stopped leading. He connected with his teammates. He was there, hell or high water, good game, bad game, whatever it was. He was right there at the front, greeting guys, encouraging guys, supporting Andy, and at the same time just like processing. And we were having conversations about concepts, about different things, because we had to just keep those conversations alive for when that time would be where you go back in, you're ready to rock. And he went back in with a level of confidence, preparation, and all that, where he just was excited to like put it all back into action. And he was honestly, like, the part that I felt too was he was making a statement to me: you can trust me with this offense. Just call that. We went through the game plan, call whatever you want to, and I'll make it work. And that's where we kind of grew throughout the end of the season.
All right, rapid fire for you. We're going to start here. It's called one rep back. Everybody does it. You get to do one play call back. Your entire career, any level, you get to do it over again. Play the call, do the play call differently, whatever, better, differently, whatever adjustment you want to make. Where are you going?
I got a lot of them in 2 years, just cutting my teeth. Here's a hard one. We're at Washington playing the Commanders.
Yeah.
We got a screen call, goes for a pick six. Andy Dalton's in, and typically I give him a man answer for a screen, and I didn't give him an answer on that one, and so he's trying to make the play work. They hug rush it. Dante Fowler picks it off and goes the other way, and it was such a big play early on because we're having a successful drive. And that was probably fresh in my mind. Like, I wish I could have given him a better answer for the hug rush on that one.
That's interesting. We do something called badasses. Biggest badass you ever been around. Again, could be any level, any stop. What do you got?
Doug Baldwin. Yeah.
Tell me why Doug Baldwin was such a badass.
He just always was there. Regardless of the situation, he was competing. He was battling. He was going to find a way to win. And that wasn't just games.
Yeah.
That was practice too. And I just remember just the fight that he brought every day. I just loved when I coached receivers and he was one of my receivers. I just loved being a part of that and feeling like you're going to work with somebody who's, crazy competitive and is going to find the edge.
There were a lot of those guys in the Seahawks teams.
Oh yeah.
Well, can you take me into what practice was like when you have so many alpha? Like, that was the whole thing. I know Pete just said that, alpha, alpha, alpha. Like, it must have been insane to watch that every day.
Absolutely. And there were times where we had to, a lot of times in training camp, you go 1v1s.
Yeah.
And I think we would have gone into the season beat up if we did that, and every day.
Yeah.
And so Pete would alternate days 1v2s, so that we had enough of that, pushing each other, becoming this great team, but that we could also okay, let's play other guys against each other, because it was the level of competition was so high, and particularly in 2013 and 14 when Seattle defense is statistically one of the greatest defenses of all time, and just how hard it could be to complete a pass, make a yard. You see the guys, if we got one down the field, you see KJ and Bobby what happened there? They're talking, and Earl's in the back, and they go off to the side and they're having these conversations. It was this critical things, the middle of camp in a practice. But that was the intentionality that it takes to be great, I think.
That's awesome. I really like that. One thing you've learned about the Carolinas since taking over as head coach, something underrated, something you didn't anticipate, you're there, you're traveling around the area. Tell me about North Carolina or South Carolina, something you didn't know.
I didn't know a lot about just the South and the Southeast in general, just, coming out there. But I think one thing that's been refreshing is just the loyalty of the fan base in the Carolinas. Wherever we go, whether it's a volleyball tournament in Greensboro or a 7-on-7, football tournament in Charleston, just the support, love what you're doing, coach, keep pounding, just random people, just really encouraging, excitement, and just basically this feeling we're here.
Yeah.
We're Panthers fans. We're here. We got your back. Keep it going. Keep building. And so just kind of learning that part of it, just the embrace, and also the respect factor, of going places. They see you with your family and they just kind of quick wave, hey, coach. It's not this, crazy scene or anything like that. It's just a general good feel of family, that family feeling.
Like that. Two more for you. First one, defensive play caller that gives you the most nightmares leading up to the game, or the most kind of headache. Oh, I wish I wasn't seeing this guy on Sunday.
Dennis Allen.
Wow.
Dennis Allen. So going against him a couple times in Seattle, not as a play caller, twice when I was in Tampa, and then twice this past year. I just felt like he knew my numbers. He knew what I was trying to balance. He challenged our top concepts,
Yeah.
and the style of play, hands-on. They're going to be hands-on on the perimeter. They're going to have a loaded box and make it tough for you to run. And then just kind of like his sporadic pressures and stuff. I just thought he did a really good job and really challenged, for whatever reason, the things that I was trying to do. It just felt like I would call this, like he just felt like he knew.
Yeah.
And he had his numbers laid out. So I enjoyed that challenge.
Biggest difference, been asking every coach who's come through here, biggest difference between the 2024 version of your team and 2025 will be what?
Biggest difference will be, I think, just the level of comfort, the guys knowing what we expect, the style of play, our mentality, the way that we're going to start and finish a game, start and finish a practice. And so just having a core group of guys that we were able to talk through those things throughout the season, through the highs and the lows, and feeling like they know what to expect now, and having a core group of guys that can kind of lead whoever we bring in with free agency and the draft. Those guys will come into a culture and a locker room that knows what to expect.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right.